Portland's sports leader, 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network.
We're all just in the love boat today, baby.
Well,
feeling great.
I'm
Everybody won this weekend, right?
I'm the wingman who got divorced, but I already had the ticket to go with my buddy, and now I'm just sitting watching you dance.
I'm excited. USC's going to be undefeated coming to Autzen later in the year. That should be a big showdown.
Can't wait to hear Danny's thoughts at 10.
We got 2 weeks to start digging everything up to really hate Signetti and let him have it.
He'll give us something. That dude don't back down.
Who do they have this
week? They have a bye.
Oh, they have a bye too?
Yeah.
Oh, we got 2 weeks.
Is that the game day game?
Should be.
Oklahoma, Texas got the Red River rivalry in 2 weeks.
Juice.
If Mateer doesn't play, it should unquestionably be Oregon and Indiana.
No juice.
No kick time yet for that game, by the way, for people asking.
No. My guess is that'll be, well, it might
Third
not
says
be.
12:30. I'm hoping 12. I don't know what the CBS 12:30 game is that week. That has like 12:30 CBS written all over it.
It should if CBS has first pick.
Or it could turn into a primetime game for NBC
again.
Yeah.
You are definitely on the love boat.
I'm feeling fantastic today.
I text you this, I watched that interview in the post game, and I just text you. You can hate the O and the Duck fans
and
all
you can
want.
be jealous of
Dude,
Phil Knight and all the bells and whistles that they have.
How do you not get jealous that that's not your team's head coach?
Exactly.
I want a guy that cares like that. You know what I mean?
He lives and breathes it, man. He was so ecstatic after the win that the trend on social media was he's high on cocaine right now.
I mean,
I don't think.
Let's not act like he didn't have some energy there that would
football,
suggest.
I think the
football cocaine.
The takeaway there is football is his cocaine.
Yeah.
That's his high.
Yeah.
Winning a game like that in that environment in that moment,
a drug that exists that could make him as high as that feeling.
No, I don't think there is because he almost cried, but then he came back and he's like, "Oh, we're off."
And he finally had to say in the interview,
yeah, he got flustered at the end. Give me a minute here.
Give me a minute.
I need to come up with something. But the other part of it that was so awesome for that staff, because I brought up Tosh Sapoy going into the season, man. The season did not end well for him last year. They got torched in the Big Ten title game. They still found a way to win. And we know how ugly the Rose Bowl was, right? I had major question marks coming in. And they're probably going to play offenses that are better quarterback play later in the year. We'll see how the rest of the season goes.
Different attacks. Indiana's going to pass. USC's going to pass.
Yeah,
Washington's got good
Mendoza
3 big guys.
probably strikes more fear into them than Aller did.
Probably, yeah. I don't know if the rest of the players around him do, but Mendoza, I think, is a better quarterback than Drew Aller. I don't disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
The game plan that they came up with to bottle him up for nearly the majority of the game, and then it was a great calling card for the head coaching staff or the coaching staff and the defensive staff to identify that play in overtime. Dylan Thieneman talked about it after the game of we were together in the huddle before, because it was the first play of the second overtime that they ran. And it was they went over it, and it was in film study, and it was, I got a feeling they're going to try and run this play. And they set everybody up. He baited the throw, and he made the play. And so it wasn't just a fluky Drew Aller threw a ball, and it was deflected at the line of scrimmage and popped up.
And grabbed it.
He jumped up and grabbed it, largely because the coaches identified it, and they saw it coming. And so it was a great sign of them in the biggest moment of the game, coming up with the call that sealed the entire thing on the road.
We saw Lanning do the interview, and then they kept filming him, and he went and his wife, and I saw just one of his kids. Maybe they were all 3 there, but I saw hugged his wife, he hugged his kid, and I mean, maybe a half second after hugging his kid, Lepoy came over and and I'm like, it would have been so funny if he just got in between Lanning and his wife.
Get out of the way! We're hugging, bro hug time.
We're work wives, you don't get it.
We got him, boys.
I was waiting for it. Here was Lanning, his team coming in with a little bit of youth and people questioning, can they go on into that environment and win? I want you to take a listen because I wonder if this is something we hear on the Ducks versus them, some of the theme stuff.
That's 2 years in a row we played in front of the biggest crowd in Oregon history, and that speaks volumes about how these guys can handle the stage. We said the whiteout was really going to be a white canvas for us today, and we get an opportunity to paint our masterpiece, and those guys did it. Did an unbelievable job of just going out there and executing every play and playing the next play. I thought we had really good composure throughout the game. There was a couple times we hurt ourselves. Penalty, obviously there, late, from Harkey, something we got to be able to control. Didn't see it on the field, but obviously it happened. But overall, our players played, their asses off, whistle to whistle, and that showed up.
They still haven't lost a Big Ten conference game in the regular season, so that's still intact. I don't know if or when, again, rat poison, as you love to say, and
it's a real thing, man.
Sometimes different teams, different schemes, you just maybe overlook an opponent, maybe USC or a Y. Yeah. I don't know who the hell it is, if there is even one.
They were pretty lucky to beat Wisconsin last year. That game could have been an L.
Right, and who saw that coming? Wisconsin wasn't good.
Yep.
That being said, I think the beauty of today is, one, you got that win. So every Duck fan that paid all that money to go to that game, boy, talk about payoff.
So jealous. Nothing worse than traveling and seeing your team lose.
Well, especially the people at the very top. He clapped for those people, which was a really cool moment. But, I just couldn't imagine being at the very top, seeing Little Ants play, and then my team loses, and now I got to drive an hour and a half and all that.
Right.
I think you look around the sport this weekend, and Ole Miss won, and we'll get to the college football dealings, right? Ole Miss won, and Bama gets a road win at Georgia. And you just look around that landscape, man, and in so many other seasons, and Oregon was this last year. So to be fair, with the expanded playoff, there's so much to be had. But I just think that win puts you into a mentality of doing it on the road is just different than doing it at home. And I'm not trying to say beating Penn State's bigger than Ohio State. It's not. But beating Penn State in a whiteout on primetime and looking as dominant as you largely did despite going to double overtime, it just puts you into a mindset that you don't want to say out loud, but you're like, there's not a scary Georgia team right now. There's not a scary Alabama team. There's not a scary Clemson or scary Ohio State. Like, these teams are good. They're very talented, but it puts you into a mindset that you don't want to acknowledge out loud, but you're like, oh, there's a look. There's a look about this.
How perfect would it be for either later today or Tuesday, I forget which day they do, that the first committee rankings would come out? It should be this weekend. You've played a month.
I agree with that.
Almost everybody has
We
played
know.
a real team
Yes.
at this point.
Yes.
There's enough data to start to be able to parse through 1 through 25.
Well, I think the point that's most exciting to me, like, you're not wrong about where they could go the rest of the year and the thoughts that are in our heads.
Not
They're in
saying
our
they're
heads
gonna
every
do it,
year.
but yeah.
No, it's there every year, right? We do this a lot with Oregon, and I don't know if they're going to do it this year or not. But I will maintain the thing that I've been arguing for 3 years, and I remember making this point when they lost the 2 emotionally brutal games to Washington. And last year, the way the season ended to Ohio State, like, it's horrible in the moment, but the belief in Dan Lanning, and I think he has proven it over time, is that they get better every year. And so in year 1, the critique is they didn't finish the season strong and he couldn't beat rivals. Okay. Year 2, they go from 10-3 to 12-2 in year 2, and they beat Oregon State, but they couldn't beat the Huskies. All right. Well, now he can't win a big game after 2 years. Then he beats Ohio State, and then he beats Penn State. So you check those boxes. Now he can show you he can win a big game, and he beat his rivals too. So all the things that we've said about him, he can't do this. The next year, he usually ends up doing it. One of the things that was remaining for him to accomplish, now to be fair to him, it's not like he's had a dozen chances. He hadn't won a big road game yet, other than Utah was a top 25 team when they beat him, but that was the backup quarterback.
Doesn't compare to this.
That was the pig farmer quarterback.
Yep.
Like, they kicked the crap out of him, and that Utah team was okay, but it's not anywhere close to this. Really, the only chances he's had where you could argue the Washington game in the regular season, the Civil War, I guess, at the end of his first year, and there's not a lot of them, right? So he hasn't had that many cracks at it. And so now he's checked that box of like, look, I can take a team on the road and win. And it's just, there's the belief in what he's building. And I will go back to the point that I made earlier. 3 of the best players on the field were true freshmen.
Well,
they're not going anywhere.
Yes.
Oregon will continue to get better year in and year out. And this is the argument I made all summer when Meringue wanted to kick the door in and laugh at me of like, you think they're just going to fall off a cliff? You think there's no more talent left on this roster because they lost guys in the NFL?
That's what I was going to
This happened 2 years ago,
Right.
and then they went 13-0. And last offseason, all we said, man, Bo Nix is gone, and Jackson Powers Johnson, and Troy Franklin, and Bucky Irving, and on and on and on and on. How are they going to replace him? And they went 13-0. And we did the same exact thing this offseason of like, I don't know, man. Lost a lot to the NFL. Guess what? They have top 5 recruiting classes every year, and they've reached the point as a program where the talent behind the talent is ready to step in and play at a high level.
And you didn't pick him to go undefeated. How dare you?
I know, only 11-1 this year.
Even you are a doubter.
Even I am a doubter.
Even you are a doubter of old Dan Lanning.
Sleeper
right?
over here, right?
I would say though, like I wanted to note that on my show sheet of like I do want to give you credit. We get so many things wrong, and if you wanna feel good or bad about yourself, if I talk positive about your football team, just know that it's going to go the wrong way. That's basically where my opinions have gone so far in football. What I would say,
Stay off, dude. Stay off. Don't say anything. Stay off. Back away. Back away now. Drop the microphone.
I'm just trying to be a good co-host. Lob them up to you so you can spike and go, hey,
Give me some
you did
alley-oops
it.
here.
Now, we'll see what happens in the playoff. Who does Sprague pick? Cut his mic.
I can't wait till now he's back to winning big games, and if he loses a playoff game, it'll be back to, what has Dan Lanning even won, though, man?
Well, so I did want to note that today because I literally wrote it on my show sheet. I will not forget that day. I agreed with your take. I don't know how you can't follow. How can we not follow the sport, the history of the sport, and say recruiting matters a great deal, see that program constantly in the top 5, hit nothing but home runs, not doubles, not singles, home runs in the transfer portal, and conclude that, well, maybe I have them 10-2, or maybe you have them 11-1. We still think that program is going to be in the thick of it.
Yeah, this idea there was going to be a steep drop-off.
And you said it, and I didn't argue with you at all, because I agree, like, they're in an Alabama-Georgia thing where they might not win it, but every year
they're in the mix.
They're in a mix.
Every year.
And some years they might shock us with how elite they are, and other years maybe they lose a game we don't expect, but they're in it. And you did get laughed at. You were yelled at, basically, after our show was over. And you look like a genius today, because I noted that because I remember that day fondly of, like, I agreed with the take. I thought it was a valid one. The recruiting and everything, the profile said as much. And you just said what we all see, and you got kind of laughed at for it. And I thought, okay, hold that one, because I'm sure that's going to age well. And, well, after this week, and with one team not still winning a road game in the Big Ten, or their second road
Purdue
game.
Easy. They beat Purdue.
Okay, borderline. Like, with everything that happened this week, and I was like, all right, well, there you go. That's the evidence you needed.
Both coaches in year 4, by the way, and they've had the same tenure.
I know, but my point is, to your point, yeah, they have enough of a profile to say, whether it's 10-2 or undefeated, they're in that conversation. They're not in this 8-4 conversation.
Well, and that's the whole point about where they're at and where they're going, is that they're going to be in the mix every year. Some years better than others. Some years the schedule will break their way. Some years they'll have tougher schedules where they'll have more rope, whatever, right? Like, they're going to give, as long as Dan Lanning is there, they're in the mix to win a national championship every year. Will they eventually get one? I believe that they will. How long will it take? I don't know. Is it this year? Who the hell knows how the rest of the season plays out? But that's the thing that keeps me going. As long as he is there, there's not going to be a drop-off, and they will be in the mix every year. And the thought of winning a national title, usually Ryan Day last year, Jim Harbaugh the year before,
they
Kirby
can't do
Smart,
it till they do it.
You're knocking on the door, in the playoff, and then you kick the door down.
Yeah, maybe it's Kalen DeBoer's year.
It could be. Very well could be.